Hi everyone, welcome back to the Hui Podcast. DeepSeek has recently made waves in the tech world, becoming a hot topic of discussion. Its rise wasn't quiet. It shot across the sky like a meteor, creating huge ripples in the Chinese-speaking world. We've discussed the truth behind it before, trying to unravel this mystery. DeepSeek, especially with the release of DeepSeek v3, has left everyone stunned. This model, costing just $5.57 million to train, surprised even Mark Zuckerberg and made leaders at Meta Platforms Inc. stop and think. At Meta, many senior managers earn more than this amount yearly. Yet here's a model that costs so little to train. This raises questions about companies spending huge sums building AI teams and buying graphics cards. Are they really getting their money's worth? The latest version, DeepSeek R1, has pushed reasoning abilities to amazing levels, getting close to O1 model performance. These distilled and fine-tuned smaller models are beating O1 mini models in many areas. Let me explain what a distilled, fine-tuned small model is. Take my computer. It runs the DeepSeek R132B model. How is this created? It uses output data from DeepSeek R1 to adjust the Tongyi Tianwen 2.532B model. That's how we got the DeepSeek R132B model. On my computer, it handles all kinds of reasoning tasks brilliantly. Word is that DeepSeek R1's impact has spread far and wide. Even Sam Altman has made changes. Before, O3 and O3 mini models weren't available to free users. Now, the O3 mini model is open to users. Under the vast digital sky, Plus users once had special access to these hidden mysteries. But then someone in charge said firmly, "No!" This is the story of the O3 mini model, now available to free users. What about Plus users like me, who paid $20 monthly for hundreds of daily interactions? Looking back at those challenging days with the O series models, both O1 and O3, did we really need 100 questions daily to chat with them? 100 times was enough to satisfy our curiosity. What about the complete O3 model? Will it still cost $200 monthly or more to experience it? The decision maker might be wrestling with this question, a hint of uncertainty in their eyes. Across the ocean in America, media outlets are having a field day, stirring up emotions with sharp words. Look at what we tried so hard to ban, it's shocking us now. These words became their mantra. Big names spoke up too. Google's former CEO once proudly said, "We're years ahead of China in this field, they can't catch up." But what's the reality? Does he still think that? I believe China was still 1-2 years ahead, but competitors were catching up fast. Yang LeCun, Meta's AI leader, celebrated this as a win for open source. Many influential US AI founders now discuss DeepSeek in interviews. This story has definitely gone viral. Why has this viral event sparked such heated discussion in Chinese social media? Simple. In the internet ocean, Chinese social media circles are like a jumbled painting, with fragmented arguments rising and falling. The debaters are like one-way thinkers. One side's voice flows freely while the other gets blocked. What is a diode thinker? It's someone who can only process thoughts in one direction. What are these positive voices saying? They start with, "Great job, my country," a proud cheer. Despite blockades and restrictions, we won with a militant rifle spirit. It's like that glorious moment in history, when Chinese people defeated enemies who had planes, artillery, and tanks while using basic weapons. This remains our pride, a chapter of history we keep coming back to. Then there's the shock factor language. X was shocked, Y was stunned. Chinese media often use these phrases to describe foreign reactions to DeepSeek. Some boldly claim China will surpass the UK and US, predicting Nvidia, Meta, and OpenAI's decline while AI becomes China's domain. Some voices say America's blockade was just a joke. Chinese people still made miracles happen. These are the patriotic, pink viewpoints. On the flip side, others firmly believe Chinese people can't achieve 0-1 breakthroughs. They point out DeepSeek actually has 50,000 H100 cards, banned by the US, not just 10,000 as reported. Critics say DeepSeek's team shows clever tricks, but lacks true wisdom, succeeding through shortcuts. Some even claim it's not really a private company, but a state-backed giant in a huge corporate empire. All this wealth eventually goes back to the state. Those in the know, or the critics, often use these phrases. Let's continue. Some people question if the data comes from other large models. Many Chinese models use OpenAI's training data, so when asked which large model they belong to, they say OpenAI. Everyone studies the ChatGPT model. DeepSeek v3 made similar mistakes before. Some wonder if DeepSeek's data violates copyright or has other issues. Others suggest America should tighten its blockade to stop their progress. That won't change. These critics just can't stand seeing Chinese people succeed. These are the two opposing sides, now tearing at each other on Chinese social media. There are also neutral voices, or slightly positive ones, asking, why open source such good tech for foreigners? Shouldn't we keep it to ourselves? That might be what some patriots think. So who's right and who's wrong? I don't think it's necessary for us to argue about who's right or wrong. Whether DeepSeek is far ahead is beside the point. Once we think we're far ahead, that's when problems start. The idea of being far ahead itself is problematic. Under the vast sky, if I stand before you and you can't surpass me, that's an issue. If you do surpass me, political correctness comes into question. Only being far ahead counts as true leadership. China leads in some areas while catching up in others. Where we lead, others are closing in. This back and forth drives AIGC forward. That's what we should think about. Among all the big names speaking up, Yang LeCun, Meta's AI chief scientist, made the most sense. He pointed out this isn't China versus USA. It's open source beating closed source. That's what the DeepSeek story shows. This could happen in America too, maybe differently but still amazing. The real winner is open source. Open source is a new, advanced way of developing software that beat the old closed way. Is DeepSeek truly original? Did they start from scratch or build on others' work? Some doubt Chinese people can innovate originally. That's irresponsible. China made breakthroughs without GPT-2 or LLama, sitting alone at night under dim lights, thinking about those distant, mysterious open-source models like stars in the sky. Without them, China's large model industry would be dark, maybe non-existent. That's unavoidable truth. Is being original more important than innovating? Maybe we should focus on joining the innovation wave and contributing. Real value isn't about being it's about solving problems and making changes. Every problem-solving process is innovation. Every innovation matters. When I face problems, I give everything to solve them. With persistence, solutions come. These innovations might seem small, but they add up to big changes. Like America's latest tech, it's built on decades or centuries of research, constant improvements, and problem-solving. We shouldn't dismiss others' innovations or only chase 0 to 1 breakthroughs while ignoring 1 to 100 progress. Without 1 to 100 buildup, how can 0 to 1 breakthroughs happen? Has DeepSeek shaken up America's model industry? Looking at people eagerly downloading their papers and code, trying to recreate and use it. Clearly, yes. DeepSeek's methods will deeply influence American projects' future direction. Maybe AI projects worldwide. Should we tighten sanctions on DeepSeek? If there weren't sanctions before, should there be now? This needs careful thought. Before someone mentioned sanctions, everything seemed peaceful. The quiet night broke. Tension filled the air. Most DeepSeek core team members might be abroad, seeking knowledge in America. Sanctions shadow limited innovation's flame. Without that graphics card ban, Chinese tech might have bloomed earlier. Models better than DeepSeek might already exist, bringing more breakthroughs worldwide. Sanctions have unpredictable effects. They made innovators stay in China, contributing to Chinese tech instead. Let's look at how DeepSeek emerged under sanctions. A bright moment for Chinese tech. It could have pushed global tech forward, speeding up large model development. But restrictions and sanctions killed many potential inventions, a bitter fruit of these policies. Some ask if such a powerful country deserves praise. This question is like 4 people enjoying mahjong when someone declares a Kong, disrupting the game. Their friends celebrate loudly, seeming glorious but actually stopping the game's flow. Making a Kong is part of the game, but celebrating shouldn't stop progress. Innovation in the large model industry is like that interrupted mahjong game. We shouldn't stop for temporary wins. We need to keep moving forward instead of pausing to celebrate. Real victory isn't about leading for a moment, but about keeping the game going, continuing to innovate. Sanctions might bring brief glory, but only constant exploration moves humanity forward in tech. Let's keep the mahjong game going. Let innovation continue. That's what we should chase. In the distant east, there's an ancient land where people with yellow skin and black eyes have a unique love for language. When a foreigner speaks fluent Chinese, no matter their skin color, the world seems to applaud. Chinese people gather around amazed, like it's the highest honor. But when a Chinese person masters English, reactions are often flat, even unnoticed. People speaking fluent English might be African, Nordic, overseas Chinese, or from anywhere else. Their English varies, some with perfect pronunciation, others with local accents, but they communicate fine. Nobody thinks it's surprising. For Chinese people, seeing a foreigner abroad speaking even imperfect Chinese makes them rush over with amazement and joy. Maybe this is just Chinese cultural sentiment. For Americans amazed by DeepSeek, they're seeing tech innovation's power. This power crosses borders and languages, published in English papers on platforms like Hugging Face for everyone to access and use. They didn't see Chinese researchers writing papers in Chinese just for domestic platforms needing translation. No, they saw people from France, Israel, China, America, all publishing research in English, the world's common language. Along history's grand river, people work together pushing a great cause forward into the unknown. Asian faces sparkle like stars in this grand picture. Isn't this natural? Why get so excited about it? Let's roll back time and focus on companies leading the tech wave. We discussed if Meta was facing its end, and if NVIDIA and OpenAI could keep shining. Looking closely, you'll find. Talk about Meta is overblown. Sure, training their model for $5.57 million sounds shocking, but this number just covers using 2,048 graphics cards in training hours. It doesn't include data and human costs. Model training isn't a one-shot deal. Complex structures like MoE likely need multiple tries, adjustments, and redesigns before success. Using one training cost to represent DeepSeek v3's development cost isn't realistic. Don't think Meta's falling apart just because of that $5.57 million figure. They're actually buying more graphics cards, from 600,000 to 1.3 million this year. They're going all in on buying cards to train new models. This opens new research paths for them. Meta said they had a training path. Now that path's wider and longer. In AI exploration, the LLaMA series shows tech evolution. LLaMA 1 and 2 took baby steps. LLaMA 3 showed promise. Through versions 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, they kept improving until they became unstoppable. Then DeepSeek appeared, bringing fresh training ideas. Meta embraced this change instantly. Their limited path expanded, making NVIDIA's stock price wave like tides. During xAI's quiet time, Grok 3's training methods rose silently, suggesting more possibilities. NVIDIA, the industry giant, couldn't be ignored. Stock price changes actually show NVIDIA's value. When these models spread widely, their cost-effectiveness triggers a rush for graphics cards. People copy new methods into old models, refreshing them through fine-tuning and distillation. This helps NVIDIA because each breakthrough brings more people to AI, pushing the industry forward. In tech's wave, many AI agencies appear like stars, each setting up powerful computing centers. They love deploying open-source DeepSeek models, driving their business like starting powerful engines, exciting the whole industry. For NVIDIA, this is great news. Lower costs and better results with large models make companies buy lots of graphics cards, but closed-source models face huge pressure. Let's review our discussion about open-source paths with Meta, xAI, and NVIDIA. What about closed source? OpenAI needs to think hard about keeping its lead as its leadership position shakes. Anthropic faces pressure too as its value likely drops. What's happening with Google? This giant hasn't responded yet, but cloud providers are celebrating. Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Oracle, they're all putting open source models in their data centers for customers to use. This is huge for them. They might buy more graphics cards, maybe from AMD. AMD's MI300 reportedly runs DeepSeek v3 well. No surprise, AMD helps fund PyTorch Foundation. If you're running these models, AMD makes sense. With AMD's cards, DeepSeek v3 is growing roots in AI agent companies. Companies like Perplexity and Cursor used to depend on OpenAI and Claude, with user data in others' hands. Now they can use DeepSeek v3 or maybe DeepSeek R1 in their products. As AMD cards get more compatible, more AI agent companies might follow. 2025 could be the AI agent year, with apps growing fast on models like DeepSeek v3 or R1. China's Dubao is working hard too. Their Dubao 1.5 Pro uses a MOE model with their own data. Maybe better than DeepSeek there. Standing by the data ocean at night, I feel mixed emotions. Using others' data can bring hidden biases into models, like invisible ghosts. I often ask myself, who am I? I'm ByteDance-backed, with platforms like TikTok supporting me. I have massive data, filtered and labeled by thousands. That's my pride. I tried Dubao 1.5 Pro. Besides being too politically correct, it's fine. It's cheaper than DeepSeek because it has lower costs. I can take losses and give subsidies, something you can't match. Minimax also launched Minimax 01, going open source. It scores high on rankings but hasn't caught much attention. Open source takes time. People slowly start noticing your code, papers, and info. Using an open source system is expensive at first. Hiring people who understand it is tough. But I'll try because that's how I'll find my place in this information age. Stop worrying if China can innovate or lead globally. What matters is quickly joining open source standard setting. Otherwise, you might find yourself outside the standards process. Everyone's contributing to standards now. If you wait to contribute, nobody will care when you want changes later. At this crucial moment, everyone should try to join standard setting. Worth noting, Huawei contributed most to open source projects among Chinese companies. Without sanctions, Huawei might have succeeded hugely here. Sanctions forced them to work alone. A tragic result. That's my take on Chinese discussions after DeepSeek went viral. Thanks for listening. See you next time.